Alright, and welcome back. So in today's video we are going to be working on this car. You guys might remember this car. This is my brother's car and he is currently out at basic training for the military. So before he gets back, I want to do a couple things to this car. I've been wanting to do it for a while. That box of parts have been sitting there for a really long time, but I was going to video it and I didn't end up videoing it. But we went to Pocatello and picked up a new motor for this thing. So this is a 4-cylinder Mercedes diesel engine, and the one we went and got is a 5-cylinder with a turbo. So it'll be a good power increase, but that's not going to be in this video, unfortunately. My brother said he wants to help switch the motor out, so I'm not going to be doing that. But in preparation for the new motor, I'm going to be pulling this thing apart and replacing ball joints and getting it ready, because it kind of has a wobble to it. I also want to tighten up the gearbox a little bit and get rid of the little bit of shake. So this is what I get to do today. So I'm going to get upper ball joints replaced, which they're part of the upper control arm. So I'm going to get that replaced and the lower ball joints. And then just go through and check everything, make sure everything's good to go, and get it all ready, so when my brother gets back, this motor's coming out and the new motor's going in. So I'm super excited for that. But in today's video we're just doing some simple stuff, but I'll take you guys along and show you guys how to do some ball joints. So I guess this car has wheel bolts instead of wheel nuts.
It's a lug stud.
Well, my brother's on the phone. He'll tell you. You can't really see him.
It's called a lug stud.
A lug stud?
It's called a lug stud, apparently. But a little bit of a backstory on this car. Braden got a rock crawler, and he decided rock crawling was too expensive for him, so he traded it for this car, which is now turning into a really expensive car because we just bought a new motor for it. He got new wheels and tires for it. He's getting new suspension for it. So.
Oh, and you raptor lined it.
And we repainted the whole thing. So moral of the story, he should have kept his rock crawler, but it'll still be a fun project. Hear that, Braden? Making a YouTube video. Wow. This stuff's old.
I don't know, this is your mom's old phone. Look. I made a chode. Just for you.
Yep, and that's what you hear when you're driving down the road. Right there, that upper ball joint.
Okay.
But it's part of this whole arm, so I gotta pull this whole arm out of here. Which, that looks
What the heck?
fun. Alright, so I just got the bearing cap off. Never actually pulled one of these apart before, so kind of trying to figure it out as I go. Looks like, huh?
Looks like, huh? Yeah, that explains it.
Well, it's essentially got like a mountain bike clamp on here.
Mountain bike clamp.
Yeah, it's got a clamp. It's like a clamp nut.
No, really. So it's like a, Braden says it's a clamp nut.
I don't know. It's like a weird, yeah, it's like a clamp nut.
So I don't know if I told you, but what we're replacing, well, I showed you but the parts, but it's this up here, the whole upper control arm. This is actually the sway bar. And then the lower ball joints down here and the knuckle. So I gotta pull the whole knuckle off, I gotta pull this upper sway bar control arm mount off. Yeah, and then I'll go through and repack all these bearings and should be good to go. But I'm gonna get this caliper pulled off, and then I can get this all pulled off, and then figure out how to get all this pulled off. If it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about, it's because I don't. I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, well, as you can tell, gotta change the clothes on. It is the next day. I didn't video much of this. I was fighting it and it got pretty late, but I did get it back together. Got the new upper control arm in there, got the new lower ball joint. I repacked all the bearings. Feels super good. I'll show a little bit more on the other side now that I kind of know a little bit more on what I'm doing. But this upper, it was gone. The bushing was gone and the bolt was seized into there, so I had to cut it out and everything like that. But this side's finally ready to go. I just gotta put the tire back on and set it on the ground, and I'll show you guys kind of more on the other side, like I said. But here's the old upper control arm. As you can see, I had to cut it in half. This is what's left of the upper bushing. Pretty much nothing. Definitely needed to be replaced, but as you can see, that bolt was seized into the bushing and that was not coming out of there. So I had to cut it a couple different places, and yeah. But got the other side right here. So I'm gonna get the wheel and tire back onto this side and kind of scoot the car over and start pulling apart the other side. All right, so as you can see, starting on the other side, and it is just as bad. If you look up in here, this bushing up here is just completely, can't really see it, but that bushing right there, it's completely gone. So you have to do the same thing to this side, but now I kind of know what I'm doing. Shop cat. I think I showed a little bit on the other side, but how these things are set up is pretty cool. So usually they got like two nuts and that lock together, and it's super complicated, but this, it's just got this little thing. You loosen up the clamp, get your bit stuck in there. All you gotta do is loosen that up and it comes right off. Super cool, actually. And then you just tighten it back up to where the preload's set right and tighten up that locking screw. But at the same time, it's kind of scary that this is the only thing holding your wheel on. That's it.
It breaks, you're losing your wheel.
But then it's got this little bearing on the outside and a bigger bearing on the inside.
That
So,
grease is very old.
yeah, I'll repack it and everything. I got a whole new tub of grease. I already went right through and repacked the other side. So set that to the side. Clean this off so I don't get grease all over myself. Okay, and this is the bolt that goes through the upper control arm bushing. This is the one that was seized on the last one. I guarantee you it's not going to come out on this one, and I'm going to have to cut it. But you never know. You might get lucky every once in a while. But
what?
no way.
No way what? It just came out? Yeah, sometimes it is easy for you. Sometimes.
I gotta go buy a lottery ticket right now, because wow. The other side took me 3 hours. This bolt. Really? I was videoing because I was like, yeah, see, it's not going to come out. I was going to hit it with a hammer
and make it all show how complicated it was on the other side.
Oh my heck. And this is the side with all the room. That side, it's under the intake. Yeah, so you guys are lucky you don't have to watch me do that one for 3 hours. You can just watch me take this bolt out instead. And then...
Didn't you have to cut that last night? Wasn't that cut in half?
Yeah, I was showing them. I cut it in half and... Oh, man.
Wow, that one was easier.
We were out here for like an hour, so you're trying to get that out.
Oh, I was out here for a lot longer than an hour.
Well, yes.
Okay, but that's supposed to be a bushing.
There's nothing there.
That's the clunk. when
That's
you
the clunk when you drive.
Oh.
So if you're
look at
having,
this one I had cut in half. I had a. Oh man.
so if you're having clunking noises, just so you know, you probably need to change these out.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in clunk.
Well, that could be one of the things.
Ball joints and bushings are a good thing to look for. Yeah. Man. There goes the whole video right there.
Well, nobody wants to see you take out a bolt for 3 hours.
Nobody wants to do it either. It's gonna make a big deal over it on camera and be like, yeah, see, nothing ever happens easily.
And apparently you jinxed yourself. So apparently you need to do that from now on.
Okay, I just need to assume the worst and hope for the best.
You need your light.
I'm just putting the bolt right back in.
Oh.
It came out.
Well, I didn't know if you needed the light
Look.
back down here.
I even bought a new bolt in preparation for this because the other side I needed to get a new bolt.
Well, you could take the bolt back.
Oh man. That is a huge, huge relief. But I'll show you guys in here.
I told you needed your light. You said you didn't need your light.
Oh, I do.
Well, that's what I
So,
said.
this is the sway bar on this car. It goes through the engine bay. Super, super weird design. But it's got these little washers and bushings.
That are rusted.
That's fine. This is some surface rust.
It's just some surface rust.
But, and then this goes in here. But I found it to be easier to get the bolt started and then pry this over onto there. So I'm gonna get this bolt. And leave this loose. You want to leave this loose until you get everything done and have it sitting on its weight, so you don't tighten the bushing down at full droop. You want to tighten the bushing down when it's at ride height, or you'll wear your bushings out a lot faster. So that'll be loose until the very end. And then it came down here.
Oh, look at that. That was your issue.
Put this in. Now the hard part is getting that bolt the rest of the way through. No way.
I told you. Look at that.
What? I know, I had my big 6-7 foot pry bar in here the other day. Always just slips off for some reason. Doesn't want to stay. Put the bush in it. I don't want to let go of this. Can you-
Do you need the round piece too, or just the
The
bushing?
rubber piece and the round piece, and the bolt piece.
There you go. All the pieces. Look at that. You got it.
How was this side so much easier than the other side?
Well, first of all, you already did it on the. You already knew what to do because you did the other side already.
No, the
So
other
that
side,
helps.
everything was just seized.
Well, I know, but you did the other side, so you knew what you're. When you started the other side, you didn't know what you were doing. This side, you at least knew what you were doing, and you expected there to be struggle.
You're not videoing really anything.
I am videoing you doing that. It's literally right here where I felt it the whole time.
All right.
Well done.
Well, there's that done.
Do I have to do the bottom one?
I'm not doing the bottom one on this side.
How come?
I had a hard time, okay? I had a hard day yesterday. I'm not doing it.
Why? Was it that hard on the other
Oh
side?
man. So here's the old ball joint. Here's the new one. Completely destroyed from trying to put it in.
You destroyed it from putting it in?
Yeah. So I put the other new one in that side, and this side's not getting a new one because I broke that.
Well, good luck telling your brother that.
I already did.
Well, what did he say?
But this ball joint feels fine. So
Oh.
it feels great actually. There's no issues with it. No point in changing it anyways, which is good. So I'm just gonna put that one back in like that.
And put it all back together. This didn't take an hour. 3 hours.
Oh, I gotta put the shock back in first. And a trick for getting these ball joints in, if you put a wrench on them and they just spin, you just make sure you get a jack or something underneath it so you can put pressure up into the taper of the ball joint. Put quite a bit of pressure on there. And then should go.
That would have been bad.
Perfect.
I guess. Yeah. Never mind.
It just slipped a little bit. It wasn't going nowhere. Oh yeah, that ball joint feels perfectly fine. I feel good about leaving that one. Sorry, Braden. I broke your other brand new ball joint, but you're welcome for doing all the work. Okay. Oh yeah, that feels awesome. Perfect. Alright, now I'm gonna pack it together all with some brand new grease. Clean out as much of this old 300,000 mile grease as you can. So
You can't. There's no way.
these bearings still feel awesome though. So
But there's no way that these were ever, like, replaced with somebody else. You really think the grease has been there for that long?
it could have been changed at some point, but
Still, I guess. It looks like it's been there that long.
it's not crazy to think that it has been.
I guess not.
And then pack a bunch of new grease in.
Fun. It doesn't smell very good.
Grease.
Yeah.
You really want to make sure you get grease pushed into all of these bearings. You really can't use too much grease, so just put a lot of it.
Make sure you just have enough.
Yeah. It's better to be a little bit too loose when you do these rather than a little bit too tight. So it'll take longer to ruin a bearing from it being loose than to burn it up from it being too tight. So just go until there's no play in it. You want to feel just like a tiny bit of resistance. So that feels really good. Then all you gotta do is tighten up this little locking collar. Throw a little bit of grease in here. So both sides of the bearing have a little bit of extra grease to grease with. Okay, and there it is. All put back together. No movement in there. Thing's gonna ride good. Once I get this tire back on, we'll go take this thing for a test drive. See how much better it feels.
I don't know the difference.
Give you guys a before performance. You guys know just how slow this car really is.
It's just how slow it is.
It's not a fast car, but it is a really fun car to drive. Alright, so now that the car's on its own weight, I like to shake it a little bit, get it just sitting at its right height, and then tighten up your top bolt. Or the bolt that goes to your bushing. This is the same on all suspension. You just want to make sure you tighten this up at right height.
Whoa!
Just like that. Alright, and we're cruising down the road. This thing,
Wow!
it's an 80s car, so, you know, it rides like a boat, but man, feels super smooth. There's no clunks, no shakes, no, way better. But the true test is get it out on the highway and get it up to 50 miles an hour, because that's when it really started to make you nervous. But so far this feels smoother than it's ever felt. That was kind of a tongue twister. This feels smoother than it's ever felt. But I love this car. I love old cars. A little 4-speed manual, a little diesel. Not very fast, but there's just something else, something different about driving an old car. It's just so much more relaxing. I don't know. I'd never buy a new car. I'd always go buy something older like this. This is awesome. Look, sunroof, windows. Alright, and now that we got all the ball joints and stuff like that replaced, so it's a little bit safer to drive, we're going to immediately give it more power. Not immediately. This is going to hold off until my brother gets home. He wants to be a part about putting this in his car. But what is in that car is a 4-cylinder non-turbo. This is a 5-cylinder with a turbo. So it's going to pick up extra cylinder and some forced induction. So it should be a super cool car, super fun project. Braden's wife says we're not doing this, but I say we're going to do this. Is take the hood off and just whoosh, right out the hood stack this thing. So should be a pretty fun project. But I just want to show you guys, we do have the motor that is going into this car, and yeah, so stay tuned for that, because that's going to be a super fun project. I don't know, Braden's done some research. All I did was go buy the motor. I don't know. He says
picked it up with his money. You didn't buy it.
Yeah. My brother bought the motor.
We drove to Pocatello.
We just drove to Pocatello, Idaho, and picked this thing up. So everything is here. Should just be pretty much bolt in, but it is longer, so I think we're gonna have to move the transmission back and get a shorter drive shaft made and stuff like that. But I think it's gonna be a fun project. But yeah, that's what this motor is for, is the diesel Mercedes. And if this is something that interests you, make sure you like and subscribe and put on the bell notifications so you guys get notified when we do this project. It'll probably be in a month or so. My brother gets back in about a month, so I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna do it right when he gets back or not, but it's gonna be a super cool project, so stay tuned for the next one.